Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, good wherever you are. This recap here is for episodes 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 of Love is Blind season 8 because I'm kind of done with this foolishness. It's so boring. There's nothing happening. So I'm going to do a fast, rapid fire recap of each of the couples because it's not worth it. It is not worth 16 hours of my time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's I so ready to be done with this season. Okay. So, we're going to start with the most basic of the love triangles. I still have lots to feel about it. I still have lots to say about them. What we are going to start with the love triangle that is Brittany, Devin, and Virginia. So, where we left off, the last thing that really happened is that Devin divulged his secret. Allegedly, he had an addiction to ibuprofen. It started out that he was taking 2 before his games, and then he was having so much pain that he up to, like, 16, 17, 18, I don't know, he was taking a whole bunch of painkillers or well, Advil, sorry, he said Advil. He said Advil, ibuprofen specifically, okay? And we're gonna get into that. Before his game until he prayed and God told him to get surgery. Fine, whatever, I'm not talking about your faith is your faith. But Advil, ibuprofen is Advil, which is an NSAID. That is going to absolutely destroy your stomach. You are going to have bleeding ulcers 7 ways from Sunday. No, and it's not addictive. I don't know what he was taking. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but I'm just saying I have a hard time believing it was Advil. That is my own personal opinion. He's the one that brought it out here onto the stage, and that's all I have to say about that. If you have a friend or family member that works in healthcare or pharmaceuticals, I implore you to have this debate with them because NSAIDs, having this kind of addiction, taking 16 Advil a day all at once, it's going to destroy your stomach and your stomach lining. Anyways, that's all I have to say about that. Now, he divulges this to Brittany. Brittany was so sympathetic. She even started shedding tears for him. And then she opens up on her own and she says how she had some bi curious times. And again, no judgment here, but there was judgment there. You could see his entire demeanor switch up all the way. Anyways, she clocked that. She totally clocked that. And one thing led to another. The next time they meet, he made it's one of those things. Okay. Have you ever heard of where was the reference? There's this reference, and it's like when a guy breaks up with you by making you break up with him. And that's exactly what he did. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's exactly what it was. It was the oldest, shittiest move in the book. He kind of pulled everything back. He was cold. And so she's like, "Listen, I'm just going let's just call it what it is. We'll just be friends. We'll just go on from here." But really, he broke up with her by making her break up with him. So they parted their ways. And that brings us to Devin and Virginia. So now Devin, who up until now had been pestering Virginia about opening up and being more vulnerable and, "Oh my god, I can't go further with you because you won't open up to me." All of a sudden, Virginia's looking like a great option. And now all of a sudden he cannot get enough and he proposes. Did anything change? No. She still hasn't opened up to him. Now, do I think she should have? No. He hasn't earned that. If she does not feel like he's earned it, he hasn't earned it. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't if she is not ready to open up to him for whatever reason, that is her prerogative and he cannot demand that of her. But despite the fact that for him it was a deal breaker when he still had Brittany on the sidelines, now that Brittany had to be let go, Virginia is the perfect option. And hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the editors are showing me a storyline. This is just my opinion, but all I'm saying is wild. So now we go along to get along. I don't feel the chemistry. Remember in season 1 when there was Lauren and Cam and you could feel the chemistry, like you could feel the butterflies in your stomach for them? They do not have that chemistry. Am I mad at them? No. Sometimes the safe option is the best option. Like I'm not gonna tell you how to choose your partner and I'm not gonna yuck your yum. But the getaway for them, boring. They go back home. She asks for a prenup. He's now going to milk this whole prenup storyline for all it's worth. Do I think she should get a prenup? Yes. They love each other. They trust each other, but she doesn't really know him. If she has property, investments, anything like that, like anything of value, and he all of a sudden they get married and he, decides to flip the script and be a completely crazy person, then yeah, she's tied to him. Look at what happened last season. If he has a whole bunch of secret love children that he's hiding from her that he's not telling her about, and all of a sudden she finds out that he has $80 million worth of back child support and she's married to him and they have a joint account, then yeah, she's going to be stuck with that. But all I'm saying is, she sounds like it's fair that they have what they have going into the relationship. They keep their own separate accounts and they have a joint account for vacations and family and household expenses. I think that that's fair. I don't think that, especially with people coming into a relationship in their 30s and already having things established on their own, I don't think that it is an insult to want to protect yourself. What happens if he gets drafted and becomes a massive coach with like the Lakers or something like that? Then he's gonna make a lot more money than her. It's all gonna weigh out in the end. Like, I don't see a problem with it. The thing that nobody wants to admit is that everybody has a prenup going into a relationship. The question is, are you gonna write it for yourself or are you gonna let the government write it for you? That's the question. Anyways, men ask women all the time to sign prenups. This time it's a woman asking a man. I don't see a problem with it. I don't see the whole thing. I think that this is storyline. I don't think that it should be a problem. And if it's a problem, then that's not your person, especially when you're in love. If you are in the beginning of a relationship and you are in love and your person says to you, listen, I come from family money. My money goes back generations upon generations upon generations. And everyone in my family gets a prenup because we want to make sure that this money continues down to our children and our grandchildren and yada, yada, yada. I am the heir to acreage. If they love you, they're gonna be like, "Yeah, it's fine. I get that. But everything going forward we're doing together, yeah, we're totally in this together." Then yeah, for sure. That is the extent of their storyline. Nothing else happens with them. They're boring. Next. Monica and Joey, adorable couple. You can feel the excitement they have for each other. Do they have butterflies? I don't know. I don't feel butterflies when I watch them interact, but I think that they would be amazing friends. Like, they would be one of those really fun couples. What else? Their storyline is he has OCD. I can relate. His anxiety is trip, but he seems to be so flexible or trying to be so flexible. He does admit that it kind of bothers him, but he also admits that he's going to try. And I don't think you can ask for anything more. OCD is a real condition. A lot of people don't want to consider it a real condition, but it's really, really real for the people who suffer with it. And so that's going to be something that they struggle with every day of their lives. So it's something that he's going to struggle with every day of his life. I do respect the producers for following this storyline without exploiting it. It doesn't feel super exploitative, and it doesn't feel like they are trying to make his entire personality his OCD, and I appreciate that because people are so much more than that. The only 2 things that I wanna talk about is, first of all, their sock bin. I love the sock bin. I don't know if anybody has done a poll on this, but I'm going to say that I have one of those sock bins for my household. My family has a sock bin, and not only do I have the same sock bin, I literally have the same sock bin. The actual little square laundry basket that they keep their socks in, exactly the same. I have the exact same sock bin. So I am on Monica's side. I don't know if it is a weird, quirky little thing, but I hate folding socks. I hate putting them away. I will fold them and put them all in one spot, and they will just all conglomerate in one spot. Otherwise, there's socks everywhere. I just feel like there's socks everywhere. So in my house, socks are either in the sock bin or in the laundry basket. They don't need to be traveling throughout the house. Like, you take it out, you put it on. And obviously, when you're going through the sock bin, there are socks that belong to specific people. Like, you look and you're like, oh, those socks belong to a 5-year-old. Not everybody's wearing the 5-year-old socks. Oh, those are man socks. Not everybody's wearing the man socks or the lady socks. Like, there are certain socks that people kind of go towards, and so they will wear those socks rather than just having a total free for all, and I feel like that little bit of the story was not told, because you can see the socks sheet in even that bin, that there are specific, like, different kinds of socks, so if you're looking for a specific kind of sock, then that's the sock that you're looking for. Like, obviously, I have some knee-high socks, and I don't think my husband has ever reached for those ones. So, maybe, maybe not. Finally, we have the storyline with her sister being a difficult no. I think, and again, this is just my opinion, if you are someone who has a person in your life where their opinion of your significant other is a deal breaker, then you don't have any business going on a dating show. You don't have any business because it's already too late. You're already engaged. You don't drag somebody to that point in a relationship just to be like, "Okay, but if my sister doesn't like you, we're gonna have to call it off." Like, you're already invested. You're already meeting each other's people. That's not fair. So, I get if for Monica, like, her sister's opinion seems to be really important, but she did not specifically say it's a deal breaker. We will get more into that later with another couple. But for this, like, I really think that if she does decide that her sister's opinion of him is a deal breaker, then you kinda did it to yourself, and it's kind of shitty to do to Joey, because Joey's not doing that to you. Like, Joey's not, "If my mom doesn't like you, then sorry, all bets are off." Anyways, that's them. They are them. Dan and Taylor. I think he added her on Instagram. I think he definitely followed her. Like, it's my opinion. I wish she would have actually gone through the whole list of unfollows and found him because she said it was months before and she like just kind of gave up. Like she goes searching, searching through. Sorry, let me back up. I didn't tell you the storyline. So they like each other, they get engaged. That's their whole storyline. And then she sees him and she's like, I think he followed and then unfollowed me. So I think he knew what I looked like all along. I think he did. I think he did. It just kind of looked like he did. Like, I don't know. I don't know for sure, but I feel like he probably knew who she was. And especially with all of the stories coming out about how small the dating pool is in Minneapolis, not a spoiler, but it's just basically that like it's a large small town and so everybody knows everybody. I think they probably have like friends in common. I think that when she does finally add him, they do have a whole bunch of people in common, and he does generally know what she looked like. I think he added her. Anyways, that's their whole storyline. Her parents weren't crazy about them getting together. His parents love her. His parents kinda talked her parents into it, and he asks for her hand in marriage to her parents, and they say, "Yeah." Her mom was a hard sell, but I get that. But again, if your mom saying no, or if your mom not liking him is a deal breaker, you went on the show anyway. Kinda set yourself up for disaster. That's all I have to say. Okay. Woof. This mess. This mess. So, how do we even start unwinding this? Madison likes Alex. She also kinda likes Mason, but she really wants Alex. Mason wants Madison. But I really think he just wants Madison because Madison doesn't want him. Like, I think that he wanted Meg, and Meg was his number 1, and I think he liked Madison, but I think Madison's not liking him made him like Madison more. So, Madison and Alex decide that they're going to be boyfriend and girlfriend, which means that obviously she needs to break up with her other boyfriend, right? We're following, we're clear, this is fine so far. So far, it makes sense. So now Madison breaks up with Mason, and it goes sideways because Mason, who previously told Madison that she was his number 1, now decides that he made a mistake and he never felt that way. And he said that and then immediately regretted it, which kind of hurt Madison's feelings. Understandable. Still clear. I get it. Mason had to take that back because his ego was wounded, and so in turn, he wounded Madison's ego. I get it. So far, we make sense. Okay, let's finish up with Mason. So now Mason goes to talk to Meg, but you see, back in the room, the girls have all been talking. So Meg and Madison have been talking about the situation and have crossed notes. By the looks of it, Madison is not doing a big amount of dissing and to Meg, but she is telling him honestly. Meg seems very differentiated. She has a very, very stable head on her shoulders in this regard. Now, they do talk a little bit and they do exchange notes a little bit. And Meg says she doesn't know what she's going to do. So when Mason gets his date with Meg, now Meg says, you know what? I will never know if you are choosing me now because I'm actually your number one, or if you're choosing me because the other option has been taken away from you. Madison took herself out of the equation. So now you're only left with me. And since you were not the one to choose, I will never truly know. And that's not something I can get over with. So now Mason and Meg are both out of the picture, and we are left with Madison and Alex. Now, Mason goes back to the men's lounge. Now, remember how I said that the girls had crossed notes, exchanged notes, and talked about their person? Apparently, that is not allowed of the girls. The girls are not allowed to share notes. So now Alex is mad that Madison spoke with Meg and ultimately broke Mason's heart. How does he know this? Because he was talking to Mason. You see, the men, Mason and Alex, they are allowed to talk about the girls behind their backs. So Alex breaks up with Madison, and that completely nullifies this entire quapral. I don't know, the foursome. They're all gone. So now we talk about the real mess. Let's start, first of all, with Sarah and Ben. Now, as we know, Sarah and Ben never really belonged with the other group of them. Sarah allegedly actually did date Dave a little bit, but dropped out of the running fairly early. It was never Sarah that Molly was worried about, but we'll get to that messiness when we get to Dave. Now, Sarah and Ben make it through. He promises that he's going to be more socially aware and that he's going to be a better person. And so they decide to get engaged and go ahead. So now they are boring. They're boring. There's nothing crazy happening with them. They meet some friends of Ben who I am not convinced are his regular friends. Like they might be, but he seemed pretty, I don't wanna use the word self-centered, I don't wanna use the word clueless, and I don't wanna use the word unaware, but the somewhere in that trifecta. Like, if you made a Venn diagram of those 3 ideas, he would be in the center of it, for him to have such a diverse group of friends at the friend meeting. But whatever, maybe they are his best friends and they hang out all the time. I don't know, I'm not there. They all are absolutely lovely, though. Great friends. Anyways, they meet the friends, it's whatever. Then they go back and now they're at the house. It's whatever. And Sarah magically checks her phone and finds a TikTok of someone talking about Ben, and he is caught red-handed. He seems pretty panicked. I think we are going to find out that he is a little bit of a D-bag in real life, and we'll see where that takes us. So that is kind of the cliffhanger, if you would, that there's some kind of girl on a TikTok that he doesn't know and only went on a couple of dates with and then blocked her. And she's making TikToks about him because she heard that he is on the show and he is wandering around the city engaged and why it wasn't at her or something along the line. I don't know. First, I'm reserving the right to hold judgment on this storyline because I wanna see if they actually tell the truth on this storyline or if this is going to be a big nothing burger. Now, we're finally at the mess. The mess that is Molly, Dave, and Lauren. So Dave basically does the exact same thing as Devin, where he's got the 3 girls, he's just stringing the 3 girls along, he's dragging them along, and he waits for one of them to break up with him because he's telling them both basically that they're both his number 1, and so he's just waiting because, of course, the girls time's running out now, and the girls are all exchanging notes, just like the guys are, but the girls are not allowed to. Don't forget. So Molly goes in and confronts him, and she's like, "WTF? Like, you told me I was your number one. She says that she's your number one. What's going on? Like, just tell me. I want to do this, but if you don't want to do this, if you want to do this with her, then you do this with her. But if you are not in this with me, then there's no reason that I'm here." So now instead of breaking up with her, he's like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm a shitty person. I'm a shitty person." He does the exact same thing that Devin does, is that he breaks up with her by making her break up with him. So she just says, like, if there's basically the whole moment comes down to, she's like, if you are into Lauren, then there's no reason for me to be here anymore. Or if Lauren's your number one, then there's no reason for me to be here anymore. And he's like, okay, yeah, yeah. And she's like, is there something that you want to say to me? And he's like, well, what do you mean? It's like about like us breaking up. And he's like, I thought I just did. And that's how they broke up. Like they literally broke up by him making her break up with him. Like the guys on this season are something special. They're something special. So that's the end of Molly. Molly comes out. Her and Lauren make up. They have a great cry together. Lauren says, like, I broke up with him. Like, it's you. Like, it's gonna be you. And she's like, I never, and she gives that heartfelt apology. She's like, I never meant to talk about our relationship in front of you. I legitimately thought he was dating Sarah. So I was gushing whenever Sarah wasn't around. I didn't mean to put you in that position. And Lauren forgives her. Lauren's like, yeah, no problem. Now they go on the honeymoon or the getaway. And the only person with an actual storyline on the getaway is these two because Dave uses this getaway to investigate. He is on a mission. He has the entire conspiracy board up in his room. He's got the red string. He's connecting the dots. He wants to know which girls are putting out because Lauren's not. And he feels some kind of way about it. He gave her a ring and she has not put out. So he literally, at the couple's gathering, literally asks everyone if they're getting any, because this can't be normal. It cannot possibly be normal that Lauren is not giving him any when they're engaged. She's got a ring. They're a couple. He's been such a nice, patient man, but I'm sure we've heard that story before. So she also does mention that she does have a somewhat recent breakup, and he is like sticks on that and can't get over it because, again, Minneapolis is a big, small town and everyone knows everyone. And this guy has a tertiary connection with him. He knows of him, but he doesn't actually know him. And he has decided that this is something that he can't get out because she had a casual relationship with an F buddy with a friends with benefit situation, but he cannot put out for her own fiance. Like the nerve. And this is their only storyline for this point on. He cannot get over this fact. And when they get back to the city and they get their phones back, all of his friends and his family and his sister, oh my God, his sister, cannot get over the fact that she may have had a casual relationship with someone that was not him. She may have coupled with someone that is not him. And he cannot get over that. And neither can his sister or his friends. His friends don't even want to meet her because she had a coupling with another person. She is not virginal. So, Lauren, I wish that I had a time machine so that I could like go back in time and bust through that door and just shake her and tell her he's not into you. And if he is, like, this is not relationship behavior. Like I am not invested in the outcome of any of these couples. They can be together, they cannot be together. But since day one, I've told you I am concerned for Lauren. Lauren, the call is coming from inside the house. You need to get out of there. Now, my question here is Dave is also another person who has one of those relationships where the opinion of his sister this time is a deal breaker. And his sister don't like her because she's for the streets, remember? So there is in real time a little bit of a spoilery game going on. And we want to know who Dave's sister is. Now, about half the people I've polled think that this is a cruel intentions stepsister situation. And the other people think that maybe he is who was it? He is his sister, but in a way, kind of Norman Bates style. So you let me know in the comments. Anyways, when the revelation that his sister picked out his sheets came out, I was flabbergasted, gobsmacked. I don't know. Anyways, that's all the couples. That's all that happened literally in episodes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's like 6 episodes, 6 hours. And I condensed that down into what, 15 minutes? I don't know. I don't know how long it's been. That's it. There's nothing else. I'm gonna try and do the rest of the episodes. I might have to put out one episode and then we will talk about the tell all later. I don't even think. I think there's one more group of episodes, and then there is the tell all. I will try and do episodes for separate ones for each of them, but this is painful. These couples, no, this season, it's not it. I was promised a good season. I was fed hogwash. Okay. Let me know how you've been feeling about the season. Maybe you think it's exciting. I don't know. I've been wrong before, but I hope to see you again the end of this week, couple days. Oh, this is a tough one. See you soon though. Bye.